Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. And let's get ready to get this show started. Let me bring in filmmaker and writer, my man Jason Hayes. Jason, how you doing, bro? How's everything, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. It's always great.
Yeah, thank you for coming in and being on time. I got to get to the comics to tell them to do the exact same thing, man. I got to work on it. I got to work on that. But while we get ready to get them into, let's get the show started. For those of you sitting at home, like I said, the show's called Box Seats. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. They give their funny take on it, and of course we talk about serious topics, and they obviously give us their perspective on it. First up, I got to talk about. I don't know if you heard about this, Jason, but there have been two New Hampshire teens. They literally filed a lawsuit. They are transgender teens. They filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump because Donald Trump has passed a law on a national level that if you're born a boy, you can't play girls' sports. You know what I mean? And it basically says that he filed an order to keep men out of women's sports pertaining to transgenders athletes. And this is the first time constitutionally that the executive order signed by Trump has ever been challenged. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think transgender athletes they deserve, just right as much as anybody. But I am not for boys who are transgender to play with girls in girls sports. I'm sorry, I'm just not for it. So this is probably the only thing I agree with Trump on. Like, and I'm not a Trump fan by any means. Like, not any means, shape, form necessary. I'm just not a Trump fan. But let me throw it out there to you, bro. Like, how are you feeling with? Let's just use wrestling, because in this order, they're playing sports, they're playing tennis, they're wrestling, and they're doing basketball and swimming. You know what I mean? For this particular order. But I think the wrestling issue is the thing I have an issue with, because, a boy is physically stronger than a girl 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? So I have an issue with that. What's your take on this, bro?
Well, the fact that Trump wants to do it makes me feel like I want the opposite of it anyway.
Right.
Just off the top.
right.
Just keep it in a bean, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that it may be time, to have a conversation about what types of sports, like what particular advantages do exist, like for instance, like wrestling or whatever. But wrestling's a weight class thing, man. I don't know, bro. To me, I just feel like if it's amateur sports, it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day, and why not compete on a higher level? You're not gonna be made worse by playing, by competing against a better athlete. You just have to learn how to win in a different kind of way. So to me, it's almost like they're coddling girls and saying, well, they shouldn't have to lose. Like, they shouldn't have to really compete against somebody that's superior. So just looking at it, in the other way. Now, boxing or something like that, I don't want to see that, to be honest. But at the same time, I just feel like it's more like parents are upset that their daughters aren't winning against trans athletes. And it's about they're not getting the trophy. And I don't think that at the end of the day, that's what sports is about. It's about the competition,
I don't either, but Jason, aren't we splitting hairs here if we start saying, now we're saying particular sports? It's either all sports or no. To me, it's either all sports or no sports. You know what I mean? Like, because if you put a man in the pool with a woman, and they're swimming, because a man is bigger naturally and stronger, he should win 9 times out of 10, 95% of the time, because he's faster. He's, you know what I mean? Track might be the thing that you might be even on a little bit, but still, even then too, you know what I mean? But you go down wrestling, basketball, you know what I mean? Basketball might be even, I don't know, man, but now we're splitting hairs. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think we're splitting hairs, and I have an issue with that. I don't agree with what Trump says. I have an issue.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The fact that he wants it so vehemently, my soul is saying, go the other way, Jason. Go the other way, because he ain't right about anything ever, Right. So, but just looking at it, like looking at what it is, right? What it is basically they're saying, I'm tired of seeing my daughter lose to trans athletes, but you only see a handful of trans athletes that are dominating anything, right? And there are other trans athletes competing that aren't winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can be, the girls are winning, in some of the instances, but they highlight and they earmark, the trans athlete is actually winning. And to me, it feels like much ado about nothing because it's not a lot of trans athletes, that's really doing these types of things, to be honest. And even when they do compete, oftentimes women win. So why not?
Okay, I mean, you could, yeah, I guess you made your case. It's a great argument for that, and I don't know, man, it just rubs me the wrong way. The minute I heard, like last year, we were doing box seats, and we were having a conversation of box seats, and when I heard that there was a guy who, he's a wrestler, and he's now a transgender, he switched to transgender, and I just had a huge issue with that right out the gate. My man, Dave, the business bully, is in the building. Dave, how you doing, bro? How's everything?
Everything is good, Frank. I don't know if you heard, but Sunday night,
we heard. You
don't even know what I was going to say, Frank.
I'm sorry.
We know where this is going.
No, yeah. That's the problem with you people. That's why you're so damn short-sighted. What I was going to say is, after the Super Bowl was won, the City Hall put out a statement saying that we are not to climb the poles downtown. And so we didn't. We just took them out of the ground and took them home. This is exactly why my almost 50-year-old ass stays in the house. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I'm not a die now Eagles fan, okay?
Right.
Thank you.
Dave, let me just throw you in on this subject real fast before we move on.
Sure.
Jason and I were talking about transgender athletes like this, and the reason why we talked about it is because there's these two teams in New Hampshire. They jumped up and filed a lawsuit to be able to compete now because obviously Trump passed a law nationally that there should be no more men playing in women's sports, and and that alleviated right out the gate these two people who obviously were transgender teens who were competing, and they got upset. They're the first transgender teens to file a lawsuit against this constitutional right, for their constitutional right. They're the first two who stepped forward to basically come against this law. So what's your thoughts on this? How are you feeling about the transgender athletes? Are you fine with the transgender athletes competing in the sports? Are you with Trump with the no thing, or where are you at on this?
I'm with common sense, Frank. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if we've ever had this discussion, but I am a father. Mm-hmm. I have 2 daughters. I have no sons. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's what we know for a fact. There have been at least 5 studies that have talked about, trans athletes, specifically trans women who are biological men competing in men's sports. And people will say, well, once they're taking their estrogen, then their testosterone advantage goes away. And all 5 of these studies that say that also say that it can't completely alleviate and eliminate that. It does not take into account bone density, muscle mass, automatic height differential, hand differential, all that kind of stuff. Any way you slice it, even if you take that off the table, Frank, look at somebody like Leah Thomas, who was ranked 462nd in the 200-yard men's freestyle, became a woman and became number 1 in the world. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely not. Now, if you want to do something exciting, here's my pitch, Frank. Okay, I think Humor Mill should literally lead the charge on this. You want to see exciting basketball. You want to see exciting sports. So here's what we do. We revamped the WNBA, which has been losing money since 1996. And what we do, because it can't get any worse, is we draft Zaya, right? Dwayne Wade's daughter. Yeah, we draft Zaya, and we let them have that. But other than that, absolutely not. I don't want anybody who pees standing up and has, a 27-inch standing vertical.
Yeah.
Or a 12-inch, third leg.
Yeah.
I'm a woman. And by the way, let me lay my plan on this, Frank. I have a lot of love for the LGBTQIA community. I myself, having undergone 312 pounds of weight loss, now identify as trans slender. My pronouns are skinny ass.
Rodney Perry's in the building, y'all. Uncle Rodney. How you doing, Uncle Rodney? How's everything, bro?
What's going on, gentlemen? The most quotable man in America.
Yeah.
The business bully.
Yeah, definitely.
I invited one of my man buddies on, so he should be joining us in a couple seconds. You might see him backstage.
Okay, all right.
He got a big fat face.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see if he joins. Let's get the show rolling. Uncle Rodney, you got the first thing up, man. We already talked about the transgender thing, man. So let's dive into, before we talk about the next couple of stories. What was your, Uncle Rodney, what was your most shocking thing that happened in the NFL season? And if you can give me 3 things, that'd be fun. And I'm gonna go first, so you can get an idea where I'm going with this.
Okay.
My 3 things that literally happened first was the way Washington Commanders played. Like, I don't think nobody saw that coming. That was number 1. That's my biggest shock I saw the NFL season. My second thing was the collapse of the Minnesota Vikings at the last 2 games. Like, I didn't see that complete 100% collapse. And the Dallas Cowboys not making the playoffs after they was 12-7 and 12-6 for the last 3 years. You know what I mean? Them not making the playoffs. I thought they were going to go literally in the direction of going positive, but they went in the complete opposite direction, and they got worse. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so much stuff that happened in the NFL season this past year. I wanted to set this off and throw it to you, Uncle Rodney, and say, you can give me 1, 2, or 3 things that's the most shocking thing that happened to you in the NFL season that just wrapped up.
I mean, one of my biggest things happened in Philadelphia, of course. We got Business Bully, that's a great fan, and Kevin Hart, who's a great fan, and they both were unseated by Gilly the Kid. Gilly has proven to be the number 1 Philadelphia fan in America. He went out and got too short. He got a song involved, and Bully, with all his blankets and cups, he couldn't get it done, man. I'm really sad to see Bully really not show up as a fan this year, man. And as much paraphernalia as he had, it really hurt my heart, man. And that's one of the tough things. Also, shocking, our quarterback coming to his own in Washington D.C. That was a shocking development. I don't think none of us at the beginning of the season would have picked that guy to be in the conversation, possibly for going to the Super Bowl. And Kirk Cousins getting a old heave ho in Atlanta. That shocked the world here in Atlanta, man. Everybody was like, "Yo, what's happening?" And I knew when Kirk Cousins was up there trying to swag and surf, his days was numbered.
Yeah, 100%. The filmmaker in the building, Jason, what was your 1, 2, or 3 most shocking things that you saw that happened in this past NFL season?
I mean, it was a lot, but I'll just pick I'll keep it quarterback related.
Okay.
1, Sam Darnold. I did not think that he was even capable of playing on that level at all, to be honest. 2, I knew Aaron Rodgers had lost a step, but I didn't think that he was garbage truck juice like he was this year.
What kind of juice was he?
Garbage truck juice. Bro, he was trash. And then, and the last thing, Lamar Jackson is next level, brother. I didn't think that he was capable of doing what he did this year overall. Crazy.
Yeah, you hit spot on with all 3 of those things. There's so much to happen in the NFL season. Before I go to the guest who just joined in, and I'll bring you in a second, bro. Dave, give me your 3, if there's 3 things that happened that you think that shocked the world, that the most shocking thing to you in the NFL season this past season.
Yeah, the fact that, number 1, Aaron Rodgers still was able to get a ridiculously profitable salary from being less than mediocre, if I'm being generous. Like, I don't understand. That's when you see black people go off the deep end and talk about white privilege, they have Aaron Rodgers in their mind.
Wow.
The second thing that shocked the hell out of me was that Jalen Hurts had a $95,000 Patek Philippe walking into the Super Bowl. And he walked out with a 27.5-pound Lombardi trophy to accompany it.
Okay.
And finally, and this one is huge. The fact that Russell Wilson is now making the most perfect eggs Benedict at home for Sierra.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
shocking.
that's really, 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 really low. Okay, all right.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce comedian Sean Banks in the building. I think we can tell what's going on.
Oh man.
Comedian Sean Banks, bro. Thank you for joining the show, man. Yeah, I see you with your Eagles, bro. Like I wouldn't even guess that. All right, Sean, since you in the show, bro, give me your 1, 2, or 3 things that's the most shocking thing that happened to you to this NFL season that just passed.
I think it was really shocking to see the the Detroit Lions just kind of lose like they did, to falter. You really thought that they were going to be in the NFC Championship game with the Eagles,
right?
With the Eagles taking it to go to the Super Bowl and ultimately take the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's not shocking to me that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It is shocking to me. Number 2 is that Mahomes didn't show up. I'm an Eagles fan, but you at least thought that he would at least pinch the Eagles.
Y'all lucky he didn't show up.
Yeah, well, you know what? It may be the FBI allegations that was going on that was in his head. Maybe that's what it was. You know what I mean? But so that was number 2, and I guess the third one would be maybe Minnesota. I used to be a Minnesota fan growing up.
Yeah.
Seeing Minnesota just kind of turned into whatever the hell it was that they turned into.
Yeah, that was one of my 3.
That was a little shocking.
Hey, Frank, this just in is crazy.
Breaking news.
Wow. I mean, you never know when this stuff gonna happen, Jason, man. Wow. Looks like Sean Banks found all the weight that the business bully lost.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! How you gonna do my life alone?
Come on, man.
Jesus!
Come on, man.
It just came in. I can't control this stuff. It just came
in. Rodney Perry, since you up, man, let me ask you this, man. Nobody picked the Cincinnati Bengals as a shock thing like that, because I think we all, before the beginning of the season, I think we all expected them to be in the playoffs, bro. Or you didn't? Because
I had Joe Burrow in my fantasy last year, and Joe Burrow stunk up the world last year. So he kind of made a comeback this year, but I wasn't like, I don't know why people be looking at this guy like he's great. He's not great.
What?
He's not great.
Yeah. Rodney Perry, he was in the top 5 QBs the year before last with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. He was in the top 5. Might have been top 3.
That's been 3.5, 4 years ago.
No, 2 years ago.
No.
It was 2 years ago.
No. I beg to differ, and we can check a white chocolate on this, but not this season. The season before, he stunk up all year. That's 2 years ago.
I'm gonna have white chocolate.
It's been 3 years ago since he was good, and he made a comeback this year. And I'm not shocked that he made a comeback. First of all, Cincinnati is pitiful. Let's just call a spade a spade. Cincinnati and Gary Owen is the only thing positive about Cincinnati.
No, okay, all right, okay. So, Jason, you the filmmaker in the group and everything else, and you have a particular eye to the way you see things. Was it the issue going on with T. Higgins and the contract going on behind the scenes was disrupted? Because they've been talking about that all season long about contract issues and out the gate they lost to the Patriots. You know what I mean? And I love my Patriots, but they lost to the Patriots first game out, and they already stepped on wrong foot out. You know what I mean? What's your take on that, bro?
I mean, that could have affected like maybe the first game, with the focus going in with the Patriots. But bottom line, they're in the most brutal division in football, man. I mean, you got to deal with Baltimore twice, Pittsburgh twice.
That's true.
And even though Cleveland's not great, that defense is great. So they just had their work cut out for them. Too many missteps, bro. And their defense couldn't win, bro. Nothing. So they had no chance.
They couldn't break win.
They couldn't break win, bro.
They definitely couldn't. They definitely could. Dave, staying with the same thing about bad teams and unexpected things like that. Let's look at Aaron Rodgers for the Jets too, because right now there's deep discussions about Aaron Rodgers literally not going to be with the New York Jets, and some people are talking about, they heard rumors all during the Super Bowl week and now Super Bowl that Aaron Rodgers could land on the Steelers, which is shocking, or the Rams. You know what I mean? So what you think about that? You think the Steelers or the Rams would be a good spot for him to land? Forget about Matthew Stafford issues. We'll talk about that in a second. But what's your thoughts on that, bro?
All right. So, Frank, the Jets season is like a bad Wi-Fi connection. There's plenty of attempts, but there's nothing happening. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's just stuck waiting. And honestly, Aaron Rodgers, he's a butt boil, Frank.
Wow.
Let's just call him what he is. Nobody likes him. He's inconvenient. You can't sit down comfortably and just enjoy yourself like a normal person. You want to pop it, but that's only going to make the situation worse. Like, why is he here? When
what is he? What is he? What is he?
He's a butt boil, Uncle Rodney.
Wow,
he's a mass, almost like a lipoma. If you've ever seen Dr. Pimple Popper, it's a mass.
Is there hair inside of it curled up, or
absolutely no? It's definitely curled. And what happens is you can't get it all out because the sac has arrested itself. So it's worse than the hemorrhoid. At least the hemorrhoid's in there and kind of coming out. This is on
where's the hemorrhoid? Where's the hemorrhoid?
The hemorrhoid is in there, but it's kind of poking out. His thing is right on your ass and doing absolutely nothing for you, but it's there and it's massive, and you got to deal with it. So
a butt boil.
Wow. He's a butt boil, Frank. But let's stay on topic here. If he goes to Pittsburgh, again, Russell Wilson has a phenomenal recipe for King's Hawaiian French toast. It's delicious. And I think Russell Wilson needs to just sit back and cook for Sierra. Cooking with Russell. Cooking because if they give it to Aaron Rodgers, man, it's racism. Black lives matter, apparently, but black quarterbacks don't. It's horrible. In the face of somebody as great as Jalen Hurts for Russell Wilson to even be facing this right now, is causing me as much pain as the butt boil that is Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, here we go. Comedian Sean Banks, bro, you in the building. Thank you for joining the show, man. Let me ask you this, bro. Here's the question now. So if we assume that Aaron Rodgers is going to the Rams, let's say, where does Matthew Stafford go? Like, what happened to Matthew Stafford?
Doesn't he have another year on his contract?
He does, but he wants more money, bro.
He wants more money. I mean, you can see maybe he goes over to Cleveland. Yeah, but are they saying Cleveland can probably take Shador? But I think Shador may end up going to the Raiders. I want to go to a Raiders game, by the way. I just want to experience the black hole. But I think that he probably goes over to Cleveland, somewhere that really needs a quarterback that's plug and play, but if he wants, more money, and I mean, the Rams could have competed this year. I mean, they did compete this year. They was in the playoffs.
The Rams was literally 20 yards away from beating the Eagles, bro. You know what I mean?
They didn't.
But they didn't.
I know.
It's a win.
I know. I'm just saying. Let's not act like it didn't happen, Sean.
Hey, we won.
Yeah, that's right. And we're not talking about fairy tales, right?
I'm happy that we won too. I'm still celebrating. You see what's in this cup?
Oh, here we go. Another
all type of paraphernalia.
Yeah,
it's merchandise. It is championship merchandise.
That's what it is. And I haven't even gone to the merchandise store yet. This is old stuff.
Me neither. There's some stuff in the house, dog.
Oh yeah, that's right. You in Philly? I go to 5 Eagles games a year, man. I'm just so excited and I'm happy. I hope we get Travis Hunter, and Myles Garrett. I don't know how we're gonna do it. It ain't gonna happen, but I just wish something like that would happen. I know.
Well, Sean,
sports guys are probably just like, what the hell is he talking about? I'm talking about another championship.
Yeah. You guys are probably the best suited to repeat like the Chiefs was 2 years ago. Yeah, y'all got 80% of your team returning. Y'all are in a pretty good thing for the next 3-4 years easily. I don't see that.
And Uncle Rodney knows
that don't worry y'all that he got an offensive coordinator out of there.
Nah, because the offense is so plain.
And they're gonna and what they're gonna do is they're gonna do what because in my day job I'm an HR director, a professional, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna promote from within.
That's right.
That's how you keep the culture going. That's how you keep things kind of just moving along. You promote from within. Somebody who knows the offense already, who can add a few wrinkles here and there, and we're gonna go back and repeat. We're young, man.
Yeah, young.
We're a young team, man.
And you're keeping your defense. Don't forget that. You're keeping the defense too. Keeping the defense.
The defense coordinator. So we keep the defense coordinator. So we're exciting, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Rodney knows. Rodney, we play Madden all the time. I'll be whooping your ass. And
Rodney, you're breaking news on that part. Rodney, you're breaking news.
I was whooping his ass when they were a bad team.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Let's not lie in front of our friends, all right?
We're not lying. We're telling the truth.
Let's not lie.
Or let's use big words like the business bully used. There's no hyperbole here, Rodney. Yeah. Hyperbole. That's what it looks like if you don't know how to
Hey, Sean.
Hyperbole, huh?
This just in. Look over your shoulder. That's my shoe in your ass.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Frank. What you asking me before I was so rudely interrupted by big fellow?
I was going to ask you, bro, since things are now unfolding for the Kansas City Chiefs, they look like they're losing about half their team. You think Jason Kelce going to retire? We touched a little bit on this yesterday. He came out forward and said he's still deciding today. It looked like since he's talking about it, I think he might actually retire. But what's your thoughts on this, bro?
I think he, he's had a great career. He's been to Super Bowls. He's played. He had a stellar life, and now he got a woman to take care of him the rest of his life. He don't even have to spend another dime of his own money. If I was him, I would go while I'm still healthy. I would go somewhere and sit down and wrap my knees up and thank God that I met Taylor Swift and got rid of that crazy black girl.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, I agree with that. Filmmaker Jason, let me ask you this, bro. Nobody seems to be talking a lot about Kellen Moore taking that New Orleans Saints job, but I'm going to throw this out there and say, is he the first coach in a couple of years to take one of the worst jobs and move forward with that, or should he have stayed with the Eagles, which was a really great job that he had? Because right now the Saints are they in hell with their contracts. They have no QB. Their defense is shredded. Like, I don't know, bro. What's your thoughts?
Well, he's been interviewing for like the last at least 3 or 4 NFL cycles.
Right.
And I'm sure that some of those other jobs he wanted that he just didn't get. And this is his chance to be a head coach. Now, just like the dude who just left right now, was it Allen? Allen knew when he took that job after Sean Payton, he had 3 years in that thing, man. Mm-hmm. And so I think Kellen Moore is probably gonna be the same thing. I mean, capped out. They don't seem to. I mean, they seem to draft okay, but they don't draft like crazy well. Like Philly or Green Bay or someplace like that. He'll probably be out of there in 3 years and be back to being a coordinator, but he'll have them checks to stack.
Interesting. Dave,
yes, sir.
The business bully from a business perspective. Everything else, I want you to stay right there on that Kellen Moore situation, because obviously it came from your Eagles and everything else. Why would you, if you are Kellen Moore, is it just a thing like, I got to just take this next job because it's a potential great head coaching job? Help me understand why Kellen Moore would leave and go to the New Orleans Saints, because I'm baffled by that.
Frank, I'm reminded of my very first Breakfast Club interview, and I'm sitting there and Ricky Smiley comes up. And Charlemagne says, what's it like sitting there producing somebody you're much better than? At some point, you got to realize you got to go out here and do your own thing. Jay-Z said, people saying they made Hov. Well, go make another one. Like, he did his thing. He got the ring. Now he wants the big chair. And as opposed to trying to fight it out or wait your turn, which ain't going to happen, you go and you prove that you got it with or without the franchise. So while it pains me to lose him, we're going to be all right because we got the playbook. See, I don't know if you know this, but just outside of Baton Rouge, Robert Boucher Jr. Famously was under the tutelage of one Mr. James Klein. And Klein,
you talking about Bobby Boucher?
Bobby Boucher.
It's very high quality 820, Uncle Rodney. It's very high quality. You just got to hit it. See, you're wrong again, Frank. You're absolutely wrong. That's the problem. It's your medulla oblongata.
I didn't say a thing. I was quiet. I didn't say a thing.
Bobby Boucher.
Sean Banks, let me ask you this, bro. Being that you're an Eagles fan, and you're a big Eagles fan, I appreciate the Eagles fan.
Can you tell I'm big on camera?
No, I meant big.
Why you say big? You could have used.
I've never seen the Eagles logo so small.
Come on, man. They don't know how big I am on camera.
How does Kellen Moore leave? How does it affect the Eagles, man?
But you know what? The only thing is, it's just going to affect the different playbook that I whip Rodney's ass on Madden with. That's all.
That's it.
I mean, that's all. I'm just have to use a different type of playbook. That's all. That's the only thing is going to change.
Yeah.
But actually, just thinking about it, we do like the consistent. Well, Well, so look at the thing. Let's just talk about. If we talk about Jalen Hurts, and I'll go from 10,000 feet. He has had a different offensive coordinator almost like every year. It seems like, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, for him to do what he's done in this year it speaks volumes. Just the fact that when we were 2-2 in the Business Bully, this too if you was listening to WIP and all this, people were calling for the coach to be gone and Hurts. He can't read defense, you can't do all this stuff, and then next thing you know, of course, we win in the Super Bowl. But it's just him getting used to another offensive coordinator and the lingo and all of that. So that's the only thing is, will we have a setback with that? But like I say, we're promoting from within. We should be okay. But I hate to see him go. Would have liked for him to stay, just to do it one more time, because another opportunity would open up next year. But like you said, he wants to sit into the big chair, and we'll go, and see what happens.
Rodney Perry, where do you think Jameis Winston is going to land, bro? Because people are trying to get him to go to the Giants, man, which I think would be horrible for him. But where do you think he'll land?
I mean, talking to my people in New York, the Giants historically have never leaned into a black quarterback. So if I was him, I would stay out of there. Even I wouldn't be the first black quarterback in, that's for sure. I like, again, I'll say New Orleans for Jameis Winston. I think that could be a good look for him. And I think, the city will embrace him because he's a great guy. Yeah. And speaking of the LGBT community, shouts out to Sean Banks for coming on today. And
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
And he's I saw him get a little sassy that last little comment, that last little question. Yeah. And he's a disgrace to Philadelphia fans all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I work in HR, so LGBTQs.
Yeah, I heard him say he wanted to go to the black hole and he had a butt boil or something.
No, the black hole just to see that defense. But you know what? If we're talking about that, so let me add to what Rodney's talking about as it relates to Jameis going to New York. I think he should go to New York, but I think he should go to New York and be on TV. Jameis Winston is going to have a big career in TV. Well, he is. He's a funny guy. He's got the personality, and once he starts a podcast and maybe have it sponsored by Phillips Seafood or somebody, like if he starts. He's going to be successful. But you know what? They also said, too, that Shedeur may end up going to the Giants. It's the Giants, it's Cleveland, or it's the Raiders.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see.
Jay, what you think about the Russell Wilson to the Jets? Because that seems like where he's going to end up. He's getting ready to get shipped out. What you think about Russell Wilson to the Jets?
I mean, they can't do worse than no QB. So, and he's definitely out of Pittsburgh because his cap hit is going to be huge. Justin Fields is a fraction of the cap hit. Yeah. Justin Fields had a winning record when he was starting. Yeah. So, I mean, what that told me was that promises, were made to Russell when he came in.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there was really no reason to sit down Justin Fields outside. The promises were made. Russell was healthy and they had to honor it. So he's definitely on his way out. But, I mean, the Jets, hey, why not? I mean, the Jets got wide receivers, man. They got a running back. The defense is decent, so hey, I mean, it could work in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, it really could. It really could. Dave, what you think about Sam Darnold and where you see him landing at? Because Sam Darnold, he got the Vikings almost there. He you know what I mean? He got him almost there. Where you see him at?
Man, I see him wherever he wants to be. Like I'm with you, but my dear departed father would say that almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Frank. Just like you keep talking, the Rams was 20 feet away from beating the Eagles. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, Frank. It didn't happen. Listen, I can't eat almost. Just like I can't eat potential, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be able to eat potential in like 5 cheesesteaks, but I leave that to Sean now. So. I honestly, I think the Raiders would be dope for him. Yeah, I think the way that they move the ball is good. I think they've got a solid offensive line, not as solid as the Eagles, but solid nonetheless. I think they're making smart strategic moves, and they have nowhere to go but up. And with a team that is building, I think the Raiders make the most sense, to be honest with you, but. It's the NFL. They're going to find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Comedian Sean Banks is in the building, y'all. Thank you for doing the show, Sean. What do you think is going to happen with Shedeur Sanders, man? And wherever he goes, do you think his dad's going to follow?
Yeah, you know what? It's so I think it's beyond Deion being able to go with him. He's going to like to say on Friday, he's going to tuck his in for one more year in Colorado, at least at the minimum. But I don't really care where Shedeur goes, but his dad will be involved in that process, in that decision. I know he will be. Do I want to see him in NFC East? I mean, he sits in the pocket. He's got a good arm on him. I don't think I want to see that much smoke in NFC East.
Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, let's switch gears now. Jump into the NBA. My man Rodney Perry, you got the first question up, and since you like to be controversial, I'm gonna throw this one out there for you because you got breaking news. So controversial. First thing, here's the fact. The fact is Kevin Durant ties Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for 8th in NBA with 30,000 points. But my question, and I heard this question on First Take today, which I thought was a great question: will he be remembered for his triumphs, or will he be remembered more for his failures? And I want to go on record and say I think he'll be remembered mostly as a tried career for joining the Golden State Warriors, and that obviously it was a triumph, but a lot of people look at that as a failure because he joined a winning team. You know what I mean? What you think, Rodney Perry?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people say that since it happened, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so what happened with KD going to let's look at why he went in the first place. They were all trying to beat LeBron. So why not join forces? It was less about him losing to Golden State and more about him, how do we beat the freak of nature that is LeBron James? And their answer was to join forces. And they did that. No, I think he'll be remembered. History is kinder to all of us in retrospect. And I think KD, the history will be kind to him as well. A great career, one of the probably top 10 best players of all time, and history will note that.
So you're going to say more so for the triumphs, not for the failures.
Absolutely. Now, if we talk about Sean Banks, he definitely be known for his failures.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Jason, what Rodney Perry did not mention is him, hooking up and going to Brooklyn with the Kyrie thing, and and everybody thought that they had the, with James Harden, they thought people were going to run that for like 2 or 3 years, and Rodney Perry didn't mention that.
I did not.
Yeah, you can hang your hat on that part, saying that's a huge failure. You could say that. Jason, how are you looking at it? Positive or failures? What KD did?
I agree with Rodney. I mean, he's balled everywhere he's been. And listen, it ain't no sports almanac that keeps track of failures, right? It only keeps track of accomplishments. His scoring gonna be there, his assists gonna be there, the wins gonna be, the championships gonna be there. So when it's all said and done, hey, he one of the coldest dudes ever lace him up, undeniably. There's nobody that's gonna argue the counter to that.
Okay, so you look at more of him, what he's accomplished, and you don't look at the stuff that he didn't accomplish. Okay, let's see what Dave says. Dave, do you look at more of his positive or his negatives of what Kevin Durant did? Because he was with OKC. Let's look at it. He was with OKC with Russell Westbrook and Kendrick Perkins. They made it to the NBA Finals. They lost. You know what I mean? Then, obviously, he gets tired of that. He joins the Golden State Warriors. They win the NBA championship. Then he jumps ship from that. And what does he do? He goes to the Brooklyn Nets. And then he gets traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Phoenix Suns, where he is now. Looking at all of that, what you see? How you see it?
Listen, y'all can clown Kevin Durant all you want to, but this man scores so effortlessly, it's like he's playing on rookie mode, or Rodney Perry getting spanked by Sean Banks. It's pretty much the same thing. The thing that I think people need to keep in mind is, while almanacs do not, keep track of where you came up short, the court of public opinion does. And Kevin Durant has suffered a whole lot. You got to remember how he came up, how his mother took care of him, how he came so far in his life when people had counted him out before he ever laced up a pair of sneakers, right? But the thing that most people, including fans, statisticians, historians, and comedians will all remember about Kevin Durant is the fact that he still suffers to this day, and I don't hear any medical professional talking about it, is the fact that Kevin Durant suffers from LOAHB, Frank.
Which is?
Lack of a hairbrush. That man has not seen the inside of a comb at all. And then when you combine the brush, Frank, when you combine the brush with some grease, petroleum jelly, and you put those two things together, you can lay it down. I mean, you got thoughts in the back of strip clubs laying down baby hairs, Frank. This man, he can't even untangle the buckshot. That's the problem. His brain is suffering, Frank.
Wow.
Dave, you want one today, bro. You want one today.
I ain't mad at you. Strikes.
I ain't mad at you.
LOAHB.
Yes, lack of a hairbrush.
I ain't mad at you. Mr. Comedian Sean Banks is in the building. Sean, how you looking at this, bro?
As we looked at his career, OKC, Golden State, Brooklyn, and the Suns, I think he's is he at the end of his career? He's added value everywhere he's been. If he can bring it home for the Suns, he's definitely going to score. That would be good. It is true. I think he suffers from he said lack of a hairbrush. I mean, it may be a little of that and alopecia at the same time, but he definitely could benefit from taking them a little deeper into the playoffs this year. I just think for his legacy that he has. I mean, I like the guy. He's a great scorer.
I like him too, but not the thing that's really I'm looking at all y'all, and not one of y'all said he did it on his own when he was up there with OKC. When he was at Phoenix, he wasn't able to do it. When he was with Brooklyn, he wasn't able to do it. He goes to Golden State. He literally joined the team that won 72 games. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? And none of y'all had a problem with that. Like, that didn't rub nobody the wrong way. Like, nobody.
It's a team sport, Frank. And I get what you're saying. Everybody that's old concept. You understand me? When you get in the rooms and you either have a ring or you don't. That's all that matters. We see that with Charles Barkley. We see Charles Barkley on the TV screen talking, and every time somebody when they get with a ring, pull a card out, he got to go somewhere and sit down and shut up. Guess what? KD do not have to go sit down and shut up because he got a ring. Doesn't matter how you get it, but you got it. And I think that's what history is going to remember.
Yeah, but Rodney Perry, I'm going to throw this out there. There is something to be said for you leading your own team into an NBA championship.
Who have led their own team? Who?
What are you talking about?
In the modern era, who has done that?
Well, in the modern era, you threw that out there. There's a curve. Well, right now, the Celtics did. The Celtics did. They led their own team. They got there.
They're gonna break that. They're gonna break that up next year. It's a wrap.
Yeah,
but Frank, one of them good boys getting up out of there.
You asked the question. I answered the question. The Celtics did it. You know what I mean? I'm saying it's possible. Jason, am I tripping? Am I tripping?
Yeah, I mean, let's not pretend that KD wasn't the coldest dude on that roster, on that Golden State roster.
Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't. And if he wasn't,
he was the coldest dude on that roster.
Jason, if he wasn't there, Golden State wouldn't have beat Cleveland. So him coming there, he helped them beat Cleveland. Like, there's no disputing that, right?
Right.
But LeBron would have won if KD didn't come there. But nobody, like, you're not looking at it. Sean ain't looking at it. Dave Rodney ain't looking at it. Like, he joined a 72-win team, a record season. You know what I mean? Those dudes was cold. Listen, I love KD, but I think he's going to be more remembered for him joining a 72-win team that was already winning than him doing anything else by being a top 3, top 4 scorer all time. That's just my take.
Right. But see, I don't think that we're taking into account that this is going to be the norm moving forward. Right. Because it was unusual when he did it because people didn't do it back then, because for most of that time, the salary cap didn't exist. See, that's why I kind of minimized what the Bulls did, because there was no salary cap. MJ never had to navigate a salary cap NBA where you stuck with the team that you have, and then is limited in terms of like who you can bring into your organization. That's you got to win differently now.
Well, organizations was different too, Jason. Like organizations was just not paying those guys.
Right.
I mean, Michael Jordan got a fraction of what he should have got for his contribution to the NBA. He really should have NBA profit sharing at this point. But
He
I
should.
mean,
he does. He's the owner with the
does, yeah.
Charlotte Hornets. He does have owners just like he
Yeah.
does.
Well, he's
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
some
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, he
You said
does. So
shoes too, right?
yeah, the shoes, he got the stock with the shoe, right, Sean? He got stock with the shoes. You know what I mean? Like he changed the shoe culture to what it's a multi-billion-dollar culture. Like that was all Jordan. That wasn't Bird and them. Those guys weren't asking for shares and nothing like that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let me ask the business bully because he talks about business about this right now. Did not Jordan change the culture? Did not everybody else who came after him change the culture? Could not have Kevin Durant change the culture if he had stuck with one team like the OKC and stuck with them and brought them to the mountaintop? Could he have not done that?
Well, Frank, you asked a lot of questions, so let me try to answer them the best I could. Jordan absolutely changed the culture because if you remember, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing, they were all endorsing Converse and doing those horrible rap songs together. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, like let's not rewrite history and act like what Jordan did and what Nike did with Jordan wasn't anything short of monumental. Right? And it was so out of pocket that Jordan was getting fined for wearing them shoes.
That's right.
So, like that. That's not going to happen again. That's like saying, Dave, as a business coach, are you going to be able to come up with the infomercial like Tony Robbins did and buy up time on TV stations? No, because that was the 80s and ain't nobody buying time on TV stations after 2 a.m. And you know, unless you're Pastor Kearney Thomas and saying, and God is healing your body right now. Kevin Durant is not the problem here. And Uncle Rodney, please forgive me. You know I love you and I owe a lot to you. But the truth is the truth. The problem is LeBron James. LeBron James decided to take his talents to South Beach instead of building up Cleveland. Yeah, he came back, but he left. And so everybody said, oh, we're doing super teams now. We're not just waiting until the Olympics. So KD is what happens when you have people like LeBron, you know, going and making super teams in order to win championships because he got tired of being the entire team in a mediocre city. So you're going to get a response. It's like Batman suited up and said, I'm Batman. Then you got crazy sadistic clowns and people waddling around with exploding penguins. There's an effect for that, Frank. But, you know, it's good business if you can get it.
Sean Banks, you got the last word on this topic, bro, before you move on. What's your take?
What are we talking about?
We talking about literally Kevin Durant and how his situation. Yeah,
I think you know what we was talking about.
Hey, you know what? When Sean Banks start thinking about food, he can't hear nothing else.
That's funny. Right. That's like 3 or 4 fat jokes now, Rodney. And I've seen your fingers; they look like little sausages.
Hey, everything like food, Banks. Food.
You're the only person on this call that look like they swallowed a 6-year-old. Now listen, the thing is, I think that when we talked about, like he talked about how LeBron went down to South Beach and got his championships and he came back and he did it. You know what? At the end of the day, these guys are making more money than me. So wherever they go and whatever they do, I'm all for it. It's just as long as I can hit my parlays. That's what it's about for me.
Well, Sean, I'm getting ready to start the whole conversation again different. So I'm putting you first. You get this next one. Okay. How would you change the NBA All-Star Weekend? I've asked all these guys this. And what do you think about the one-on-ones that the WNBA they did a little bit of that over the week, 2 or 3 days ago? They were highlighting and showing, you know, basketball players in the WNBA playing one-on-ones. It caused a whole lot of people talking. Yeah, and people are saying, hey, they would love to see one-on-ones in the NBA because the WNBA looks like they're going to move forward with that for their All-Star thing. What you think about that?
You know what? I think the All-Star Weekend should be, I like the East versus the West again. I don't like how they do these players pick their teams and make these other teams. I like just let it be the East versus the West. It's like that when you do it at the championship. So let it be like that in the regular All-Star Weekend. I never experienced All-Star Weekend. I would like to go to one. I was traveling through an airport one time and I saw Sean Bradley. Man, that dude was big, man. He was like 7'6", and it's just scary, you know. And you know, I was like, man, I know how Rodney looks to people. The shorter version. But you know, the thing is, I think they should do the All-Star Weekend that way, East versus West. But the one-on-ones, I think that would be cool, and I think the fans should be able to choose who does the one-on-one.
Yeah, I like it.
That would make it. Now that would make it very interesting. If the fans could choose, who the one-on-ones is, and they vote, and then they go out and they play.
Yeah, at least on Saturday, right? I've been saying this, like one-on-ones would be dope. You know what I mean? Leading up to the slam dunk competition. Rodney Perry, did you see what happened with the one-on-ones with the women, and you like that idea, the one-on-ones?
I got to be honest, guys, and y'all know I'm not a big fan of the WNBA or women's basketball. I'm just keeping it 1,000.
DEI.
Call it what you want to call it, but I mean, I think everybody's leaning more toward 3-on-3.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3-on-3 is way more exciting. It'll feel more like a game. Half court 3-on-3. I like that. That feels better to me. But I'm sure Sean would like East and West just because that's the way they run the hot dog eating contest. And
it's another one.
And hot dogs, the malt liquor meats, and Sean said he wouldn't have it no other way. Matter of fact, Sean called me the other day as he was pondering should he stay on the LGBTQ community, and he was like, "Yo, what should I do?" I was like, "You know what? Keep getting pounded, bro."
Horrible.
Terrible, absolutely terrible. Jason, bro, what you think on this one-on-one situation, bro? You like it? Don't like it?
I mean, for WNBA, yes. Anything, to showcase the skills and the talent. But the NBA used to have one-on-one. It was called NBA basketball until they started, allowing zone defenses and all this other nonsense to have more pilgrims up in there. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with the game right now. The one-on-one play in the game that requires you to play differently is missing because you can run zones and do all this other foolishness. So, no, I'm not a fan of it for the minute.
Whoa, Dave, what's your take? You like the one-on-ones or don't like it? Okay,
Frank. No, we're not going to just gloss over this. Okay, I know we're pressed for time, and I'm not going to be long here. But did Rodney Perry refer to hot dogs as the malt liquor of meats? And in that same segment, he basically said that my good friend, Laugh House alum Sean Banks, is a magnanimous power bottom. I'm so confused.
Yeah,
no, the All-Star Weekend needs an entire revamp, but what's going to happen is, I think what we do, very simply, is we allow the sponsor to decide what the events are. So if it is Nathan's hot dogs, I'm sorry, the malt liquor of meats. I think a hot dog eating contest could go a long way. And since Sean has not been to an All-Star game, I think that's his ticket in.
I believe he can win.
Kobe actually be dead.
Since moving up here to Philly, I learned that it's called a glizzy. I don't eat glizzies.
Pause.
Oh, but that's what we was talking about. You're like, man, I want more glizzies in my life. That's what you told me.
Sean Banks, bro, tell everybody out there how they can find you, what you got going on this weekend, and most importantly, thank you for joining the show, man. I greatly appreciate you.
It's great opportunity to be here, man, with some great guys. So you can just find me at Banks Funny. Everything at Banks Funny. Not A, but at BANKSFUNNY. So at Banks Funny. That's where I'm at. This weekend, it's going to be spending time with the wife, man. For Valentine's, Right. So that's what I'm doing. No LGBTQRSTUV here.
I'm glad you got out of there, man.
Yeah. Rodney Perry, thank you, bro. Talk to me. Where you at?
I'm easy to find. Cleveland, Ohio this weekend. Rodney Perry live on all social media. Cleveland, Ohio. I'm super duper excited about this date. It's Valentine's weekend. We're selling hot tickets. It's going very fast. Myself, Archie Musa, and I got to reach out to the club and see who's going to be hosting the shows for us. And if anybody on the broadcast is in Cleveland, hit my social media. I'll get you some tickets.
Okay. Dave, talk to me.
Yeah, bro, listen, I don't know if you noticed or not, man, but I just became the president of the Philadelphia chapter of the BMC. The Boring Married Club. So I'm going to be home when my black ass needs to be, loving on my wife and staying out the way. That's what I'm going to do. Because I don't think you understand, when you lose 312 pounds, Frank, statistically,
312 days?
Sean Banks is not the only one seeing sausages.
Yo, 312 days?
I've lost 312 pounds. And that's before I get the thigh lift. Once I get this thigh lift, it's over with.
Congratulations.
Wow. Hey, well, we know one thing, that Banks ain't lost no 300 pounds.
No, but you know what? I did lose 7 this past week. So it's not, a first down, it's just going small. each step, man.
Okay, but Sean, did you lose 7 pounds because you was watching the game and you was nervous?
Yeah, no, yeah, sure. That was it.
I'm just saying, especially the first call, what got flipped over.
That's when I lost the 7 pounds.
Yeah, because I can see that. I can understand and say that. See that.
Horrible.
Jason, bro, tell everybody else how they
people.
follow you.
Yeah, at JD Hayes on all the socials. This weekend I'll be celebrating. You know, I got married on Valentine's Day, man. You know, I knew I'd never forget.
Smart.
Congratulations.
So 22 years in the fold, man. So so yeah, this weekend hanging with the wife and hunched over the keyboard, brother. That's what I do every day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Thank you all for joining the show. Thank you all for being a part of this, man, and everybody else who's watching. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We're doing a repeat too. Humor Mill channel is called Box Seats. Thank you all. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Rodney. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Jason.
All jokes aside, well done, Banks. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, man. Y'all
Good
did
show.
it.